Hi, my name is Mike Van Boom, and I'm excited to introduce to you Help is Next Door. Now let me ask you a question. Who lives next door? Maybe the answer to that question is you. You live next door. I live next door. If there is help next door, it's because you or I are able to be there to help someone when they need it. Now, my background is Dutch, but I'm born in Canada. This is home for me. And I'm also a Christian, and my faith gives me a very powerful reason to serve and love my neighbor. Now, my family carries a few traditions from my Dutch background that we still carry on. So New Year's, say we have oliebollen and apfelfluffen. They're kind of like Timbits, just big ones that you dip in icing sugar. We love sharing those. We also have a really salty licorice called droppies that we like to give to our non-Dutch friends just to see them squirm. But really, I have grown up with a very strong tradition of hospitality and welcome. My family, my parents often had boarders coming through the house that would live with us, but sometimes it was just people who had fallen hard and needed a place to heal. And I felt it was a very rich way to grow up that we always had new people at our table, new adopted members of the family, older brothers and sisters that we could spend time with and encourage and enjoy. It was very rich. And of course, we also had a very well-worn path over to my neighbor's house where we would go over to play all the time as kids. I think the grass still hasn't grown back properly. Today, I live in a really diverse neighborhood in Macaulay, and I have neighbors from all over the world, and I feel pretty rich. One of the warm moments for me in the last couple of years was we had a Thanksgiving dinner, and we invited neighbors over for it. And a lot of people didn't have family close by to celebrate with, and so we ended up with a pretty good house full. But the food was amazing. We had Kenyan flatbreads, we had bannock, we had Filipino and Japanese noodle dishes, and of course we had turkey and trifle and all the standard treats and stuffing, all the good stuff. But we really, really enjoyed it. And I know my kids all the kids went for the spring rolls. It was the big sell for them. Now, when COVID hit, it made it pretty hard for us to get together with our neighbors anymore. We even had new neighbors that we were able to say hi with, but we couldn't get them over for dinner or for coffee or any of that. But we wanted to do something anyway, so we decided that we would clear out our driveway and just extend a simple invitation to all the neighbors. We just wrote a little handwritten invitation, say, hey, we're having a driveway dinner party. Bring your food, your dinner, whatever it is. Bring a lawn chair and let's just come and hang out together. So we put out a few flower pots, made it a little warm and friendly, but it was wonderful. And we were out there for a good 3 hours just talking as neighbors. Now, my family has a few higher risk safety concerns that we have to be careful. And so what we did early on in March already was we got together with two other families that became part of our safety circle, our cohort. One of these families had kids that were school age with ours, and so they actually decided to pull their kids out of school so that they could isolate with us and do homeschooling for the year. And that's been pretty amazing. But the other family that we have in our cohort is a senior family from Eastern Europe. And they're our neighbors. They live right across the street. And it has been a beautiful relationship. I mean, they're seniors, so they are vulnerable. They have higher safety concerns too. We were able to be in a stronger safety bubble. But they're getting older, 70s and 80s, and it gets harder for them to do things like paperwork or navigating technology, or when something happens, right? And so we've been able to be there and help them a bit, and they repay us in spades. It's just a mutually great relationship. Like we've gotten so much baking, and they've. I'll get calls from my 80-year-old neighbor to come over and watch wrestling, or we'll play accordion together. I mean, I don't play accordion, but he's got a couple of them, and I can mull along. And it's been really, really rewarding, and it's just helping us get through. Now, growing up in Canada and looking at our neighborhoods here today, I wonder if we have lost something. A good neighbor today is usually thought of as someone, well, they shovel their sidewalk, they mow their lawn, they don't do late night parties, and they keep their beer bottles on their side of the fence. But is that what a good neighbor is? A lot of us find ourselves pretty alone. I know people who've lived in big buildings full of people, apartments, but they mostly keep to themselves, and everybody sort of does. And so you run across each other in the elevator and smile or say hi, but you don't really get to know each other. And you may not even meet most of your neighbors unless, there's a fire alarm and all of a sudden you're all outside on the front lawn wondering what's going on and who is this crowd of strangers around me. Right now, I think we need to do better, because this is really hard for all of us, and too many of us are feeling alone, worried, and afraid. And I think that you and I can help. We can help each other. We can do this. And what will help us do that is if we look back at our lives, at those moments of warmth and connection that we've experienced, the traditions in our culture, it helps us to see how we can do this. Here's how it starts. Be curious about your neighbor. Say hi to them. Listen to their stories. Learn what they like to do. As you get to know each other, be open to sharing gifts of time and help, food and company. There are a few things we can do. Number 1, welcome someone into your home and into your life. We are allowed to form small groups, safety circles, cohorts, maybe 3 households that are hanging together to do life together and support each other. We're allowed to do those kinds of things. And if you've got room in your circle for a few more, right, consider inviting a local neighbor in. Maybe someone who doesn't have other people that they can count on. Number 2, get outside. Invite a few neighbors over for a dinner party in your driveway or on the lawn or for a picnic in the park. And just invite them to bring their food, bring a blanket or a lawn chair to sit on, and just come and sit together for a few hours and tell stories. Kids from different households can play together outside as long as they don't share equipment. So get them going for walks or for a bike ride or skating or sledding or even soccer. There's ways to do that too. Need more ideas? Do you have ideas or stories you want to share? Helpisnextdoor.ca is trying to keep these stories going so we can learn from each other and learn together. So pass them along to us. We want to hear it. Now, are these things allowed? It's a very good question, and the answers will change as we go. Very often we'll have to wear masks even when we are outside. But Helpisnextdoor.ca will keep active links to current health advice from the city and the province. So please go there if you have questions, but also be tuning in and listening to what our leaders are saying on a day-to-day basis, because we need that as well, and we need to stay very vigilant. Number 3, there are many ways for us to connect online with people, as many of us have been doing already. By phone, by internet, Facebook, WhatsApp, Zoom, or Nextdoor.com. There are many others as well. But the simplest thing to do actually is just get someone's phone number, and you can call them and talk to them even and encourage each other and keep in touch. Just put it on while you're doing dishes or something. But those kinds of connections are really helpful to us as well. We do need to be careful, and we need to be safe. But we also need to have courage to help each other. Join the effort by visiting Helpisnextdoor.ca.